Let's get into the victim files. So, in the article in Silent Hill 2, Walter says, the Red Devil made me do it. Something along those lines. I did it, but it wasn't me. And the victim files from the Silent Hill 4 website shed light on what that means exactly. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Also, thank you to Silent Hill Memories for the walkthrough that I've been using and for all this record of all this stuff. So, let's go through the 21 victims. Victim 01 of 21. Occupation, Priest of Valtio. Or, Jimmy Stone is the name of this character. Occupation, Priest of Valtio. Sex/feature, middle-aged white male, muscular. Height and weight, we don't need to get into the height, weight, and stuff. Hobby, playing darts. Other, nicknamed the Red Devil. Theme of murder, the 10 hearts. The 10 hearts being the first 10 victims, each of them had their hearts removed. Method of murder, shot in the back of the head with a gun. Murder location, first floor in the Wish House in Silent Hill. Item left behind, shred of scripture. Jimmy Stone created and became a priest of the Valtio sect to mediate between the Holy Mother sect and the Saint Ladies sect. This is all stuff that is not in the games. This is stuff that was lore they made that apparently was on the original Silent Hill 4 website, which I don't think exists anymore. No. Okay. So Jimmy Stone created a Valtio sect to mediate between the Holy Mother sect and the Saint Ladles. Saint Ladles? Saint Ladies? Saint Ladles? Saint Ladles sect. The Valtio sect is closer to the god, and their ethics are to worship Valtio, which also means acting as executioners. Jimmy was killed with a gun, and his body was found in Wish House, which was managed by the Holy Mother sect. Ironically, his right-hand man, George Rostin's body, was found in Wish House as well. So, I believe we don't get Jimmy Stone or the Red Devil specifically named in Silent Hill 4, but when we're going through the forest area, which was very tedious, so I will forgive if you forgot some of the stuff we discovered there, especially because I don't think we were actually able to read all of this stuff because Walter was in that one area and I didn't want Eileen to get killed. There are references to, I don't know if they specifically named Jimmy or like one of the adults. I think there are references to Jimmy Stone, again, being one of the people who worked at Wish House, who potentially like tortured these kids, or at the very least created the environment in which they were tortured either actively or through neglect, or killed outright. And it makes sense to me that this would be the first victim of Walter's. It's like, if this guy was fucking with Walter as a kid, then he'd be the first one Walter would want to put a bullet into. Victim 2, Bobby Randolph, high school student, husky black male, aged 18 at time of death 10 years ago. Hobby, likes ghosts, paranormal, horror, scary stuff. Other, hanging out with fellow hobbyists Sen and Jasper. So this is one of Jasper's friends, it sounds like, Jasper Gain, who we met in the game and did eventually become one of Walter's victims. Theme of murder, 10 hearts. Killed by strangulation. Murder location, Pleasant River University campus. So Walter, I believe, was from Pleasant River, or he ended up having an apartment there for a bit. Like, Pleasant River, I think, is even referenced in the Silent Hill 2 article. So it's possible that Walter was classmates with this guy and Jasper. Bobby was a student and horror fanatic who used to hang out with Sen and Jasper. On the day he was killed, he said he was going to look for a devil. Another reference to a devil, which we also learned tonight that the descent of the Holy Mother is really the descent of the devil. In fact, a book about occult and paranormal subjects was found by his side. Sen Martin was killed at the same location as Bobby, and both of them were murdered by being strangled to death. Victim 3, Sen Martin. We even get these like silhouettes of these characters that never appear in any of the games. High school student, thin white male, age 18, loves paranormal scary horror stuff, hanging out with his fellow hobbyists. 10 hearts, killed by strangulation. Pleasant River University campus, item left behind, camera. It's also interesting that like they specifically mention the items that were left behind by them. I wonder if this was stuff that they had hoped would make it into the game and they just didn't have the time for. Sen liked to hang out with Bobby and Jasper, who shared his interests in the paranormal. They seemed to be fascinated by Silent Hill and its eerie atmosphere. One day they overheard a conversation about someone being compared to the Holy Mother, but who could also be a devil from a church in Silent Hill. They heard them say this person was now at Pleasant River University. Sen and his friends could not hold back the curiosity and decided to sneak into the university. So that's how they crossed paths with Walter. All right. Victim 4, Steve Garland, manager of a pet shop called Garland's. Middle-aged white male, muscular, hobby walking dogs, other easily angry with people, kind to animals. The murder, 10 hearts. Method of murder, shot by submachine gun over entire body except chest. This was something that we heard in the game. We didn't see happen, but we heard the audio, which in some ways is so much more chilling just hearing it. Murder location inside own pet shop Garland's in Ashfield. And this also might be a connection to Lisa Garland from the original Silent Hill. There was something, item left behind, small shovel. There was something Steve, a pet shop owner, couldn't forget. It was 26 years ago. A boy who came to his shop happened to drop an animal cage from a shelf and injured an important pet. Years later in the same shop, Steve was murdered with a submachine gun, his body filled with dozens of bullets. His heart was taken away and a 5-digit number was carved into his neck. Bloody things happened twice in the pet shop Garland's. I almost wonder if this is supposed to be suggesting, again, that detail that always comes up in discussions of like serial killers and psychopaths, harm to animals. Victim 5, Rick Albert. Oh, are we getting... Yeah, we're getting little icons for the items. Victim 5, Rick Albert. Occupation, manager of sports store, Albert Sports. Middle-aged white male, small and muscular. Hobby, baseball, volleyball, golf. Gentle and kind, but strong. 10 hearts. Hit by a golf club. Murder location, warehouse of Albert Sports in Ashfield. Item left behind, volleyball. A volleyball was missing. Rick Albert. So the volleyball was one of the items that we actually needed for the building world the second time around to like do the birthday thing. Get Walter to remember his birthday. Was looking for a volleyball in his warehouse when a shop staff employee who was working part-time rushed into the warehouse and excitedly told Rick that the owner of the pet shop was killed. He explained that the owner was shot by a submachine gun, his heart was taken away, and there was a crest carved on his back. Rick wondered how he knew so many details about the murder. Victim 6, George Roston, another priest of the Valtiel sect. Also, for those who didn't remember or didn't know, Valtiel is from Silent Hill 3. We actually see him at several points in the game, and whenever Heather dies, you see him carrying Heather away, or dragging her away. Priest of Valtiel sect, middle-aged white male, slender, hobby unknown, other working as a right-hand man for Jimmy Stone, 10 hearts, killed with an iron pipe. Murder location, underground altar in Wish House, Forest of Silent Hill. So that is a place that we went to. Item left behind, scripture on the sect. George, the priest in charge of the Holy Mother sect, was the right-hand man of Jimmy Stone, who was also known as the Red Devil. He devoted himself to raising a certain individual to become a skilled follower. We can guess who that certain individual was. He succeeded in having Valtiel sneaked into this person's unconsciousness to permit the 21 sacraments to take place. but he could not control the person whom he raised, and the 21 sacraments began to be performed in a way he didn't expect. So this is the guy we have to thank for introducing Walter to the idea of the 21 sacraments, and it came back to bite him. And then we get to the Locane twins, the ones referenced in the article from Silent Hill 2. Elementary school student Billy Locane, adolescent white male, hobby baseball. Oh, I guess they aren't twins. They were just brother and sister. Close relationship with younger sister Miriam. Theme of murder, 10 hearts. Killed with an axe in front of the Locane house in Silent Hill. Item left behind, shoe. Painters were painting Billy Locane's roof. The color was a vivid blue, a shade reminiscent of the Mediterranean Sea. While Billy was playing with his ball, the sky grew cloudy and threatened to rain as a damp wind blew in. Billy's father came out to call him back inside the house and found that Billy was hiding in the bushes. He told Billy to come out, but Billy didn't move. As his father approached the bushes, he found Billy dead, slashed by an axe. Victim 8, Miriam Locane, elementary school student, adolescent, white female. Making cookies was her hobby. Close relationship with her older brother, Billy. 10 hearts murder, killed with an axe in front of the Locane house. Item left behind, hair. While her father stood standing and staring at the dead body of his son, Billy, her panicked mother came out of the house and saw something even more horrible. Miriam's body was laying on the street. Miriam had been killed the same way as Billy, but Miriam's body had been even more brutalized because all her mother could find was part of Miriam's body. And it's stuff like that where it's like, I'm pretty sure I've referenced this before, but there's that line from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Cool motive, still murder. We can feel bad for Walter and also not absolve him. It doesn't absolve him of the evil things that he did. Victim 9, William Gregory, occupation, owner of watch and clock store, elderly white male, hobby was fixing machines, neat, punctual, obsessive work habits, 10 hearts murder, stabbed with a screwdriver, workroom at his watch store in Ashfield, item left behind, flat screwdriver. William Gregory was famous for his skills with clock and watch work. Despite his age, his skills were not at all rusty. 16 years ago, a middle-aged man dressed in all black left him a broken watch. At the first sight, William realized that it was not a normal watch, but he didn't know why. That night, William had a strange dream. A basket that had volleyballs, a kitty that keeps weakly meowing, a feast and a birthday cake on a table, an upside-down room, billiard balls moving without people playing. It was as if the dream was trying to imply something, like they were the elements to solve a puzzle in the building world second time. Victim 10, Eric Walsh. Bartender, young white male, slender. Hobby, driving and billiards. Other, calm, but his character changes when he's driving. Theme of murder, 10 hearts. Shot in the face with a gun. Murdered in his living room, the living room of his house in Ashfield. Item left behind, a billiard ball. It was Eric the bartender's special day, and things only seemed to get better due to the information given to him by a middle-aged customer. He said the pet shop owner... How is this getting better? He said that the pet shop owner was brutally killed and the pet shop was trashed. As a result, the bar's owner decided to close early because the criminal was reported to still be at large, and Eric got to go home early. When he arrived home, a feast and cake were prepared on the table to celebrate his special day. Eric looked for his family, but it wasn't his family who were in the house. Victim 11, Walter Sullivan. Unknown occupation, middle-aged white male, hobby unknown, other unknown, theme of murder, assumption, method of murder, suicide, used spoon to sever carotid artery. Murder location, prison cell in Silent Hill. Item left behind, spoon. All of this, we have learned, particularly in this last sequence of the game, is not true. Everything is unknown. Even the dead body has not been found, so it may be inappropriate to call it John Doe. However, it is true that there is a victim. Oh, this must have said John Doe in the original website. He is considered to be able to perform the Assumption ceremony using a scripture, white chrism, obsidian goblet, and 10 hearts. So that is the difference between the rebirth ending elements and what Walter was doing. Instead of the Book of Lost Memories, he had the 10 hearts. Cleo, I'm sorry. Assumption is now permanently associated with the Irish Mother Mary video. Cleo, it took me to, I didn't get the double meaning of that last line until I watched it a second time. And when I did, I lost it. That was so good. Oh, well, that's the Assumption. They said the one who can perform the Assumption ceremony is the one who was raised by George Roston. All details are uncertain. All right, halfway through. So at this point in the lore, everyone believes Walter Sullivan to be dead and to have killed himself. Yeah, no, it's like I did get it, but he played it off so well in that video, Cleo, that the first time around, I just took it as just a phrase oh, well, that's the Assumption. I assumed that to be what's going to happen. And then the second time around, I was like, oh, wait. Okay. Victim 12. This is after everyone believes Walter to have killed himself in a cell. Somehow, Walter returned. But at least in this case, it was set up by previous lore in the series. Victim 12, Peter Walls, high school student. Walter killed a lot of kids. Let's not forget that. Juvenile white male. Hobby, getting high with marijuana. Other, junkie, a coward without marijuana. Theme of murder, void. Method of murder, beaten to death. Murder location, hotel room of South Ashfield in Ashfield. Item left behind, marijuana joint. Peter was getting high in the alley across from South Ashfield Street. There's a rumor that he bought marijuana from Toby Archbolt, the priest. There's an old ladder belonging to the hotel next to the alley. He just climbed up the ladder in front of his friends, and all of a sudden, he disappeared. Nobody saw him again until his body was found. Maybe he got some White Claudia laced marijuana. This is the thing, is there's so much lore in Silent Hill that could just be spun off into its own Silent Hill game. There could be a whole game that starts with Peter going up that ladder and then experiencing something that ends with his death by Walter Sullivan. Victim 13, Sharon Blake, housewife, middle-aged white female. Her hobby was cleaning and washing clothes. Okay, guys. Other, her family are members of the cult. Theme of murder, darkness. Method of murder, drowned. Murder location, woods in Silent Hill. Item left behind, a black hat. Sharon knew the Silent Hill Church was a fraud. She believed that the church had abducted and was keeping her family. She would often go to the church but wouldn't be allowed to see them. One day, Sharon decided to go to the wish house that she had heard about in the article about child abuse that had just been published, Joseph Schreiber's article. Worried about her family, she decided to go into the woods. Victim 14, Toby Archbolt, priest of the Holy Mother sect, middle-aged black male. Gambling, sex, those were his hobbies. Likes underage girls. Okay. Theme of murder, gloom. Method of murder, pushed off a 100-meter high cliff. You know what? That's fine by me. Murder location, woods in Mexico. Walter, what were you fucking doing in Mexico? Item left behind, old picture book. The Valtiel sex influence began to dwindle after its 2 priests had been killed. Seeing opportunity, Toby Archbolt, a priest of the Holy Mother sect, began illegal dealings to increase his own sex influence. One venture included starting a sightseeing business using the money he had made through his shady ventures. After reopening Wish House for Orphans, Toby was elected to city council for his contribution to the city and people. Ghost vacation. Gaycation, if you will. Gaycation. Yeah, Toby, fuck you. Victim 15, Joseph Schreiber. Occupation, journalist. Middle-aged white male. Hobby, reading and fishing. Other, very active and competent journalist. Theme of murder, despair. Method of murder, unknown. Murder location, unknown. Item left behind, red document. Also known as Jay, the journalist who was interviewing and researching a cult infamous for the negative rumors that surrounded it and had heard the screams from a mother whose son was kidnapped by the cult. He introduced a 5-page scoop article about them in the gossip magazine Concord to get people's attention. I don't think we learned where and how Joseph was killed unless that I guess that is sort of what I've always believed. The opening of the game where you are essentially playing Joseph with like the apartment looking all weird and red and stuff. I think that you are witnessing the death of Joseph Schreiber. The weird ghost comes out of the wall and like tackles Joseph, and then it fades to black. So Joseph was murdered by one of the other ghosts in the apartment after he got trapped there. Victim 16. Now we get into the ones that we're more familiar with. Cynthia Velasquez. Usually has nice dreams. Theme of murder, temptation. Stabbed multiple times. South Ashfield Street subway. Scattered purse contents. It was 4 years ago that they discovered the body with 12 out of 21 carved into it. Right away, I had this terrible feeling and couldn't stop shaking. The victim had been murdered 6 months earlier, but Walter had been dead for 7 years, having committed suicide 3 years before the murder. Is that I supposed to be Henry? The police think it's a copycat crime and are calling it the Sullivan case round 2. But something about it bothered me. This almost feels like something from Joseph's article. Or Joseph's Red Diary. Victim 17, Jasper Geen. Former friend of the late Bobby and son. Theme of murder source. Burned alive. Wish House Orphanage. Item left behind. Chocolate milk bottle. Special news report. In a forest near Silent Hill, the burned corpse of a 30-year-old male was discovered earlier today. The police have ruled it a homicide and are investigating. The numbers 17121 were reportedly carved into the man's body. Due to the marks on the victim, the police are investigating possible links to the Walter Sullivan case 10 years ago. I think this was one of the radio broadcasts we heard. Andrew DeSalvo. Guard. 2004. Middle-aged, fat, white male. Hobby, unknown. Watched over the children at Wish House Orphanage. Theme of murder, watchfulness. Drowned. The water prison in Silent Hill. Left behind a bloody shirt with instructions on how to get his key. This, I think, is the message that was on the shirt. My room is on the second floor, and I had to drink something with black things in it. I had the sword with the triangle handle under my bed. That guy, the fat one, took the basement key. Next time I'll stick this triangle sword into that pig and take the key. Victim 19, Richard Braintree. Had a disagreement with a neighbor named Mike. Yeah. When you have a cassette tape titled Skinned Mike, that certainly throws your whole deal into suspicion. Theme of murder, chaos. Method of murder, electrocuted. Murder location, apartment 207 in South Ashfield. Left behind a revolver. 205. He's always shut in his room. Looks like he has lots of weird interests. I heard he tape recorded Mike getting beaten up by Richard. 206. How can they even... Oh, this is the artist's notes. About the different people who lived in these rooms. How can they even sleep with so many noisy kids? Besides that, they have to live next to Braintree. 207. Braintree, that prick. He's always yelling at kids, especially that weird one that hangs around. But he took Mike into his apartment and peeled his skin off, so he's my hero. The people that lived in this apartment building were fucked up. Victim 20, Eileen Galvin. Occupation unknown. Hobby unknown. Other, knew Walter Sullivan as a child. Theme of murder. Mother. Method of murder. Beaten with fists. Unsuccessful. Murder location, apartment 303 in South Ashfield. Item left behind, handbag. I don't think I can protect myself. He's truly insane. I can't hold on any longer. His power can't be measured. I was so scared today that I sealed off the back of the storage room. I wonder if Eileen Galvin is okay. She has no idea what's going on, but she's in danger nevertheless. I think that was one of Joseph's notes. Victim 21, Henry Townsend. Hobby, photography. Used to visit Silent Hill when he was younger. Theme of murder, wisdom. Method of murder, unknown. Though my body be destroyed, I will not let you pass here. To prepare for the receiver of wisdom, I cut my body into 5 pieces and hid them in the darkness. When my body is once again whole, the path to below will be opened. If you are the receiver of wisdom, you will understand my words. The ritual has begun. This was the puzzle in the Forest World second time where we had to find those different body parts down the wells. Am I remembering that correctly? Yes, I think so. And those are the 21 victims, the 21 sacraments. And I think I will leave it there. There's so much other stuff we could talk about with this game, like the endings, and I don't know that there's too much more that I want to get into, especially because we're going on hour 4 now. We're in hour 4, almost hour 5 of the stream, but thank you all so much for watching, especially if you stuck around through all those different readings. Yeah, that has been Silent Hill 4. The last thing I'll say is I have always wanted to do like some web series adaptation of this game, either like do a short video series of Henry's days in the apartment, like up until the door gets the chains on it. A different idea I had that would be longer is a podcast that's essentially like Joseph Schreiber's audio recordings of like interviews he's doing and stuff, like as an investigative reporter, like doing it as his audio log of him investigating the Walter Sullivan case and stuff, or maybe even investigating Wish House. That would be cool to do. I don't know if I'm ever going to get the chance to do it. Not in like it's like getting the rights or whatever, but I don't know if I've got the time. Who has the time? Thank you, Goofin. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you, Cleo. Thank you, I'm Not a Mimic. Thank you, everyone who watched this stream, the entire stream, who watched on YouTube. Really appreciate it. This was a bit tougher on the gameplay side just because of the clunky game mechanics at certain points, and the tediousness of certain sections, but I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I do. It's such a interesting, detailed story, even if it isn't quite as emotionally resonant as Silent Hill 2. Thank you to Bacanova. It's still a very, very cool and interesting story. I am not sure what I'm going to be doing next stream wise. My life has been a little bit up in, not a mess, but my schedule has been up in the air because of the new jobs that I've been doing. And so once I have that a little more figured out, I might think about doing streaming again. I've also even thought about doing more music streaming, just as a way to kind of try to get more stuff going on there. But if and when I stream again, I'll be talking about it on all my social media and my website. My website, which the link has popped up a few times over the course of the stream and chat, it's just ian-doherty.com. You can find links to my Patreon, Blue Sky, Tumblr, YouTube, all that stuff. Also links to the music that I've done, solo stuff, and then with my bands Ramsky Alley and Mosaic Mind. Mosaic Mind, we just released our debut album. I have a physical copy of it here. It's called Light Pursuit, and the artwork was done by my friend Ida Hatterpasic, who's Sakupop Studio on Instagram, and it is gorgeous. The album is called Light Pursuit. It is available on all streaming services, so if you like the way I talk about music, consider listening to the music that I make. We are all very proud of this album, particularly the mix. We got this guy, Aaron Walters, a good friend of mine, to do the mix, and he did such a great job with it. If you like alt rock music, progressive rock music, definitely check it out. But yeah, I'm hoping, one of the things, there are a few other things I've considered streaming game wise. I might do some more impromptu Blueprint streams since I'm still playing through that and trying to get like the last few puzzles solved and stuff. I just played RE9. I also just played the Blair Witch game that Bloober Team made, which was cool. Certain things that didn't jive with me, but overall I think it was a pretty well done game. And streaming wise, my friend Kenny really wants me to play Halo Reach, specifically because of these lore dives that I like to do, and also to talk about the music. I never really played the Halo games. I have a decent understanding of the story because I like watch friends play through it, or I know it on the periphery. I know that Halo Reach in particular has a really good story and also really good music. So it is one that I'm interested in doing and would be kind of a change of pace for me. So it is an attractive idea to me. But there are also a bunch of horror games that I've been wanting to play. Again, in terms of streaming, I'm not sure what and when I'll stream next, but subscribe and you'll get notifications of when I'm streaming, even if it's just another impromptu Blueprint stream, or maybe I'll start streaming stuff with my friends again. Like back in the like depth of the pandemic, I streamed Phasmophobia and that stuff with some of my friends, so might go back to some of that. Also keep an eye on my YouTube, where I'll be at some point I will be editing and uploading the music sections from these streams as their own videos. Besides that, keep an eye on my website, Patreon, all that stuff that's something I'll bring up. On Patreon, I've been doing these things called unfinished paintings, where if you're subscribed on any of the monetary levels, if you're a patron on any of those levels, you will get like unreleased demos of songs that are either unfinished or I just haven't done professional recordings of. Right now, I'm putting up demos of a concept album that I've had the material for several years, but I haven't gotten a chance to actually record it properly yet. And it is kind of this, there are certain parts of it that are kind of Silent Hill-esque in terms of atmosphere and story, but it's called The Lighthouse, and it is kind of this fictional journey of a nameless protagonist as they go through this kind of like almost like a hero's journey type thing, like in the classical sense of like the Odyssey, or not the Odyssey, I guess kind of the Odyssey, but more like Dante's Inferno type thing, like going through a very metaphorical type thing. So if that sounds interesting to you, take a look at my Patreon. Check out my stuff there. Again, YouTube is where I'll be posting the Staying on Theme videos. And it's 10:55, so I should wrap things up. Thank you again so much for watching, for however long you watched. Very much appreciated. And take care of yourselves. See you in the future, hopefully. Oh my gosh, where's my mouse? Okay. Have a good night, everyone.